What's going on, Guardians? It's Tizzle here, and today I'm going to talk about a subject that has come up a lot in my Twitch chat and in my YouTube comments. People often ask me which is a better exotic to run between Stormdancer's Brace or Crown of Tempests. If you just want to know the answer, the short answer is Crown of Tempests. But as I am one to do, I will go into way too much detail about why this is. If you're a fan of my channel, you will know that for the last few months I've been really emphasizing that different builds thrive in different scenarios. This has always been true, but I'm finally getting a bit of a voice in the Destiny community, and I've been trying to teach my audience the reasoning behind this. So in this video, I'll be breaking down what makes each exotic good or bad in certain situations. Full disclosure, I am making this video before the buff to Stormdancer's Brace actually takes effect, but the essence of the exotic hasn't really changed, therefore it will maintain its same strength and weaknesses. So let's start with Stormdancer's Brace. Basically, as you get kills with Stormtrance, you will deal more damage, allowing you to take out more enemies more quickly. So where this exotic truly shines is in an activity like Onslaught. That is because enemies often spawn in waves, so you can take out a bunch of enemies in a very short time period, allowing you to get the full benefit of the Ascending Amplitude buff before it runs out. This means you can dish out really high damage on a single high health enemy if you have a bunch of adds around you. Like I said, the use case for this is definitely in an environment like Onslaught. I took this exotic through the Arms Dealer GM, and it was not great to say the least. Yes, you have some instances where enemies are grouped up, but Cabal have pretty high health pools, and this exotic falls off dramatically if you can't get a couple quick kills to get it going. What this leads to is your super often running out by the time you actually get the benefit of the damage bonus. The other downside is that you will often hang onto your super for the perfect time to use it. This is also bad because if you do this, you're missing out on the whole other half of the exotic perk, and that is the super return that you get after your super is finished. This exotic is designed around chaining supers. You want to be popping your super as often as possible to get maximum benefit out of it. If you aren't, then this exotic is literally useless. See, the thing with Stormdancers is it has no neutral game enhancement. It is strictly a super based exotic, so the less you pop your super, the less effective the exotic is. But it also suffers from waiting for the right moment to pop it. At least with Shards of Galanor on Blade Barrage, you get your super back if you use it on a single target as well. Where Stormdancers, you have to pop it on adds so that you can take out a bunch of adds so that you get your super refunded. If you use it on a single target, you get no additional damage and you won't get any super return. And yes, the super returns were nerfed to 30% from 50%, but you still want to use it in this way. And this makes it very situational. But as I spoke about earlier, in the right situation, this thing is extremely strong. In an ad horde type environment where it's nothing but trash tier mobs to take out, it shines beautifully. You can basically chain supers because of the super regen, and like I said, it did get a nerf, but I still think this exotic is better than it was thanks to the other buffs that it got. Lowering the amount of kills required to ramp up the damage is really strong, and then they also just gave Stormtrance a flat out 20% damage increase. So don't get me wrong, this exotic is really good and strong, but only in the right situations. And that brings us to Crown of Tempests. This exotic has a ton of neutral game benefits, and if you build around those, I would argue that the neutral game benefit is actually stronger than the super benefit that it gives. Arc ability kills or jolt kills give conduction tines, which gives you massive ability regen benefits. It buffs your base grenade, melee, and super regenerate by a ton. 1 stack is 168%, 2 stacks is 335%, and 3 stacks is 503%. I don't think people realize quite how insane those regen rates actually are. And with it being tied to arc, you can actually get this benefit a lot if you build around it. Ionic Traces give you lots of ability energy as it is, and then you have the exotic feeding your abilities even more. I love to run this exotic on Prismatic, and the amount of abilities and supers you can get is crazy. And when you do get your super, all you need is 3 kills to get a 65% reduction in your super. 1 stack is 22%, 2 stacks is 44%, and 3 stacks is 65%, which means that your super can last a long time. And what is cool is you can stack those up with an arc grenade kill just before popping your super. Then, as you get Stormtrance kills, those count as arc ability kills as well, so it just keeps extending conduction tines. This means your super can last an extremely long time. So sure, Stormdancers can deal more damage in a quicker time period, meaning higher DPS, but in something like a GM, DPS doesn't really matter, especially a solo GM. You would rather just get good total damage. So the longer you can make your super last, the more enemies you will kill, or the more boss damage that you'll deal, meaning you have to use less special and heavy ammo on the boss. The other thing with Crown of Tempests is Conduction Tines gives you super energy back very quickly. So yes, Stormdancers gets the 30% regen if you kill a bunch of enemies, but Crown of Tempests can build a super just as quickly if you're getting arc ability and jolt kills. And why is this important? Well, it means you can spam your super over and over, but unlike with Stormdancer's Brace, you aren't worried about getting the best possible super. You are just popping it basically whenever you want, knowing that it'll last forever, and then you'll get it back very quickly when it's done. Don't underestimate the psychological effect this has on your gameplay when you're running this build. Dado talks about it a lot, but builds that you have to really min-max and think about too much aren't all that great, even if they're really powerful in the right situation. But if you're always worried about having to use it optimally, then it often doesn't feel good to play. I can think of a number of builds like this, but Crown of Tempests is the opposite of that. It basically just complements how you would be playing anyways. Yes, you do have to build into jolt grenades and stuff like that, and I really like running Darcy with this build, but if you set your build up right, then the gameplay loop is seamless. Where with Stormdancers, like I said, you are often trying too hard to make it work in the perfect situation, and this only gets exacerbated in a fire team. I did a no mic GM with this exotic, and because we had no comms, I would sometimes pop my super, only for my teammate to do a consecration slam and kill everything before I could ramp up the super. This is definitely a feels bad moment. But like I said, in something like Onslaught, I rock Stormdancers to great effect. But it's a very situational build, where Crown of Tempests can shine literally everywhere. So to my Twitch chatters who were asking, and I couldn't really give a straight answer, there you go. This is why I like getting my thoughts out on paper and making them into video form, so I can cover all the angles and give my reasoning. I couldn't come up with this reasoning on the fly while gaming while I was streaming, because I really like to get my thoughts in order and look at the Destiny data compendium and really dive into what makes the exotic good or bad, especially in certain situations. So I'm sorry it took like a month to answer the question, but I hope this video showed why Crown of Tempests is good in basically all content, and Stormdancer's Brace is a situational exotic. Also, if you haven't watched my Crown of Tempests build video yet, definitely go watch it. It was a monster in the end of Act 1 when we had Anti-Barrier Sniper, and now we get the artifact mod for this whole episode. I like to run it with Darcy because Darcy applies Jolt, so it's even stronger now than it was back then. Plus, we got a buff to roaming super cooldown since then, and a buff to storm trance damage. Plus, we have arc-centric artifact perks, so this build is truly better than ever and is going to be a staple for me this season. Anyways, that's it. If you found this video helpful or informative, a like and subscription would be greatly appreciated. And if you're still here, thanks so much for watching to the end. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Hey, if you're still here, then thanks so much for watching to the end. If you like what I do and you want to support me further, then consider becoming a channel member. You'll get your name featured on the end screen, custom badges, and other cool rewards. You can also join my community Discord if that interests you, and if you want to see me stream, be sure to follow me on Twitch at itstizzle7 where I stream semi-regularly. Those are linked in the description. Anyways, that's enough self-promotion. Thanks for watching. Take care.